Bruce Jenner is no more. She is now Caitlyn Jenner. Or he. Or is it she? I'm not here to talk about and argue between whether or not Bruce Jenner is born a man, therefore he's always a man, or no. He is rejecting the ways of a man and accepting and embracing what he truly wants to be, and that is a woman, therefore she is always going to be a she from now on. I don't care where you stand on that line. I'm not here to argue with semantics. But what I am here to talk about is this story of Bruce Jenner becoming Caitlyn Jenner, and what a great positive story it was, specifically for just acceptance here in America and being able to come out and state something like this. To just openly, be raised in a community of athletes. If you don't know who Bruce Jenner was, he was a famous Olympic athlete, number of gold medals, fame, fortune, you name it, wife, kids, all that stuff. And for him to grow up and accept that in his mind and body, he is truly more comfortable being a female, being a woman, whatever. That is amazing that Bruce could make this transition into Caitlyn and publicly come out about it and have, no fear about doing so. And it's a great boost for the transgender community as well, because you only hear about the transgender community so much unless someone real famous like this makes headlines, and it's like, oh wow, it's really not that big of a deal. But I say that to myself and I see the utter amount of headlines and attention that this is getting, and the hoopla about it, and just every single news and morning program is talking about this. And I say to myself, is it really that big of a deal? And that's where I think my problem with this develops from. And again, I'm not knocking Caitlyn for doing what she did or anything like that. It's very commendable. Like I said, it's a big boost for the transgender community, and it's nice to see that someone could be that brave and embrace the choices that they made in their lives. But it's almost as if people are like forcing the amount of gushing that they have to do. They feel like they have to do. Like, you feel like you have to gush over what Caitlyn Jenner is doing, or else, you don't want to be seen as a homophobe. You don't want to be seen, it's like, oh, what do you hate black people? No, I have a black friend. I know a bunch of black people at work, this or that. And like, you start listing off all these laundry list things. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I hate it when people do that. I hate it when, I can't be a homophobe. I know a gay guy. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't personally have a Chinese friend, therefore I hate Chinese people. Like, is that what that means? I hate when people do stuff like that. Anyways, what I'm getting at is I feel like all these news companies, any sort of publication right now, any sort of television-produced news broadcast or anything, feels like they have to do a story where it's overly gushing about this, about Caitlyn Jenner, because if they don't, you don't want to be seen as the one person that doesn't hear. Where I'm just like, you know what? Frankly, if someone didn't really care for this story at all, I wouldn't think any more or less of them, or a news company or anything like that, because really, to me, someone like Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner coming out as Caitlyn Jenner isn't really that big of a deal. Is it newsworthy? Absolutely it is. But it's to the point now where it's been weeks on end to months now, because Bruce had that final interview with Diane Sawyer. It was back in April, where he says, this is the last interview I'm doing as Bruce, and I'm going to be Caitlyn from here on out. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. That's going to be the end of it, and blah, blah. But now it's turned into the Vanity Fair article, and the discussions are all back, and I'm just like, why? Why is it that big of a deal? And again, that's where I think my whole problem of this lies, in that this really shouldn't be that big of a deal. And the fact that it is being made such a big deal out of speaks volumes about how just I feel insecure society is of, having to force themselves to overly gush and accept this. Now, granted, I was obviously gushing about it a little bit to an extent here, but that's part and parcel to show you that, I'm not just some idiot homophobe. It's going to be like, oh, stupid fag, whatever, blah, 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 you stole a man in my book or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to come off like that. I'm just trying to tell you that I have an open mind to this. I'm accepting of this. I'm accepting of anyone that does anything in their life that is happy and healthy, which is perfectly exactly what Caitlyn is doing here. If you're not forcing anyone with your way of life to follow your way of life or doing stuff that breaks the law, like as long as you don't grab my hand and drag you into church with you, or I see you banging little 10-year-old boys in the ass, then I have no problem with you. Okay? Just do what you gotta do, be happy and healthy. And that's where I feel society and this Caitlyn Jenner story are just feeling like they have to just overly gush about it. Overly, till it's overdone. My God. I thought the new British royal baby was overdone. Wow, this takes the cake. This is like this Caitlyn Jenner story is the equivalent of 10 royal babies being born in the same week. Like that's how big this Caitlyn Jenner story is. Anyway, I'm not trying to sound like I'm hating on Caitlyn Jenner, because that's not what I want to convey with this message. Caitlyn's very brave for doing what she did, coming out the way she did, and taking the amount of notoriety and fame. But it's also kind of starting to get the point of like, where I'm like, look at all the attention is this getting. Is there some sort of underlying thing that, maybe, just maybe, Bruce was attention starved and this was one thing? I don't want to go that route, but it's starting to kind of seem like that a little bit. And if it keeps going on like that, I'm going to be like, I don't know, man. This might just be one big publicity stunt. But I don't want to go there, because I honestly don't think someone would even want to go through the physical transformation and the amount of public attention of such a drastic change in one's life for the hell of it, or for just the sake of publicity. But if things continue on, I look at things from all perspectives, and I wouldn't rule something like that out. Anyway, it's been a couple months, and I'm already getting sick and tired of hearing of Caitlyn Jenner. It went from something that in my mind was very brave and powerful to something that I just frankly don't want to hear about anymore. Because it was a big deal at first, and now it's just like, it's being overdone. It's really being overdone. Anyways, I don't know. We'll find out what she had for lunch tomorrow, because I'm sure that'll be on the front page of the New York Times or something like that. Have a good day, everyone.